In the heart of a bustling village, there lived a woman named Mokpelola. She was a beacon of kindness and warmth in the community, known for her generosity and gentle spirits. A year had passed since her husband's sudden death, and she now lived with her only son, Olu, who had inherited his mother's compassionate nature. One sunlit morning, Olu set off for the village market to buy food and other necessities. The market was a lively place filled with sounds of bartering and the vibrant colors of fresh produce and handmade goods. After gathering everything he needed, Olu began his walk home, carrying a heavy basket balanced on his head. As he walked along the dusty path, he noticed a young boy sitting by the roadside. Sobbing softly, his clothes were tattered and his face was filled with tears. Compassionate by nature, Olu could not just walk by. He set down his basket and approached the boy. "Hello dear," Lolu said gently. "What is your name? Why are you crying?" The boy looked up, his eyes filled with sorrow. "My name is Malaika. I am crying because I am hungry." "Where are your parents?" Olu asked, concern etched on his face. "They are both gone," Malaika replied, his voice barely a whisper. "I have no one and nowhere to go." Olu's heart ached for the young boy. "Come with me," he said, offering his hands. "You can stay at our house tonight and have a proper meal." Malaika hesitated for a moment, but then took Olu's hands. Together, they made their way back to Mokpelola's home. When they arrived, she was surprised to see Olu with another child. "Who is this, Olu?" she asked. Olu explained Malaika's situation and how he found him. Mokpelola, always quick to offer help, welcomed Malaika with open arms. She prepared a warm meal and Malaika ate, his eyes shining with gratitude. That evening, after Malaika had gone to bed, Mokpelola called Olu aside. "Where did this child come from?" she asked. Olu had no clear answer, but he shared the little he knew. His parents had died and no relative had come forward to care for him. He had been wandering from place to place, surviving on the kindness of strangers. Mokpe sighed. She was moved by the boy's plight, but also worried about the extra burden on their already modest household. "We will keep him for now," she decided, "until we can find a more permanent solution." As the days passed, Malaika helped around the house and quickly became very good friends with Olu. The villagers noticed the new addition to Mokpe's household and began to refer to Olu and Malaika as brothers. Little did they know that this chance encounter would change their lives forever. Time passed and Malaika became a cherished member of Mokpe's household. He was diligent and eager to help, whether it was tending to the small crops, fetching water from the river, or assisting Olu with household chores. They did everything together and even attended the local school, where they excelled in their studies. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day, and it became a symbol of brotherhood in the village. His presence brought joy and a sense of completeness to the family. One day, while returning from the river with a pot of water balanced on his head, Malaika encountered a young woman standing by the path. The woman, who looked slightly older than him, smiled warmly and introduced herself. "Hello, my name is Fati. What is yours?" "I am Malaika," he replied, recognizing the familiar warmth in Fati's eyes. Fati's face lit up with recognition. "Malaika, it is me, your auntie. I can't believe it is really you." Overwhelmed with emotions, Malaika dropped his pot and hugged Fati tightly. Tears of joy streamed down his face as he finally felt a connection to his lost family. Fati explained that she had been searching for Malaika ever since she heard rumors of a young boy matching his description living in this village. Fati promised to visit the following week with her son, Roti, to formally meet Mokpe and discuss Malaika's situation. Overjoyed, Malaika rushed home to share the news with Mokpe and Lulu. They were both happy for him, but also felt a twinge of sadness at the thought of possibly losing him. True to her words, Fati returned the next week with her son, Roti. Mokpe and Olu welcomed them warmly, offering food and drink as they sat down to discuss Malaika's future. After a hearty meal, Fati finally spoke. Malaika is part of our family. He belongs with us, she said firmly. Although Mokpe understood Fati's points, she was taken aback. No one looked for him all these years. Why now? She asked, her voice twinged with concern. Fati's expression softened. We didn't know what had happened to him. It was only recently that we heard he might be here. Malaika, eager to reconnect with his family, calmed the situation and expressed his willingness to go with his auntie and cousin. Although Mokpelola was reluctant, she understood his desire and began to prepare him for the journey. Before Malaika left, Mokpe took him aside and handed him her small mirror. This is a magic mirror, she explained. If you ever need anything, just speak to it. Malaika, skeptical but grateful, accepted the mirror. He promised to visit Mokpe and Olu often. With a heavy heart, he bid farewell to the only family he had known for the past months and left with Fati and Roti. As they journeyed to Fati's home, Malaika felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. He was eager to learn more about his family, but could not shake the feeling that something was amiss. Little did he know, the next chapter of his life would be filled with trials that would test his strength and resilience. Malaika's new home with Fati and Roti was in a village a few miles away. As they approached the house, Malaika felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. The house was modest but well kept, and standing outside to greet them was Joke, Fati's daughter. Joke welcomed him with a tight hug, and Malaika felt a glimmer of hope for a happy reunion. The first evening was pleasant. Malaika was given a cozy room, and they all shared a hearty meal together. Exhausted from the journey, he fell asleep quickly, feeling optimistic about his new life. However, his optimism was short-lived. The next morning, Malaika woke up early and after breakfast began to tidy up the house. He wanted to show his gratitude by being helpful. He cleaned the kitchen, swept the floors, and arranged the living room. But as he was finishing, Joke stormed in and threw a bucket of cold water over him.
Why did you do that?
Joke's face twisted in anger. You think you can be lazy around here? Go to the river and fetch water, Joe. Malaika was shocked and confused. He quickly grabbed the pot and made his way to the river. This marked the beginning of his suffering. The days that followed were filled with relentless chores and cruel treatments. His cousins, Joke and Roti, never lifted a finger to help and often mocked his efforts. One evening, as he was finishing his chores, Malaika overheard a conversation between Fati and her children. They were in the next room, unaware that he could hear every word.
We need to keep him working hard, Fati said. 2 wealthy merchants have already come asking to make him work for them, but we cannot let him know. He must remain here, suffering.
Joke laughed.
We left him to die after his parents passed. We cannot let him think he is better than us now.
Malaika's heart sank. He realized that his own family wanted him to suffer. They were jealous of the love and care he had received from Mokpe and Olu. If only he had listened to Mokpe's warnings and stayed with them. He wept quietly, feeling betrayed and alone. In his despair, he remembered the magic mirror Mokpe gave him. Desperate, he decided to give it a try. He pulled out the mirror from its hiding place and whispered,
I need food. I need food.
To his surprise, food appeared before him, enough to satisfy his hunger. Over the next few months, he continued to use the mirror, asking for food and other necessities. He regained his strength and attractions to the confusion of Fati and her children. Roti, curious about Malaika's newfound vitality, began to spy on him. One day, he saw Malaika using the mirror and quickly reported back to Fati and Joke. They devised a plan to steal the mirror, thinking it would bring them the same benefits. One day, Fati sent Malaika to fetch firewood. While he was away, Joke and Roti ransacked his room and found the mirror. They brought it to their mother, eager to use its magic. But when they tried to use the mirror, it emitted a blinding light that knocked them to the ground. Terrified, they decided to return it before Malaika returned, hoping he wouldn't notice. But Malaika came back and saw Roti holding the mirror.
What are you doing with my mirror?
He demanded, his voice trembling with anger. Roti, in a fit of rage, threw the mirror on the floor, shattering it into pieces. As the mirror broke, a strange magic was unleashed. Roti began to scream and confess all the evil deeds they had done to Malaika. The villagers gathered, horrified by the revelations. Seizing the opportunity, Malaika fled the house, determined to return to Mokpe and Olu. Malaika's heart pounded as he fled from Fati's house. He didn't stop running until he reached the outskirts of the village, where he paused to catch his breath. He looked back only once to see if anyone was following him, but the chaos he left behind seemed to keep them occupied. He continued his journey back to Mokbelola's village, his thoughts racing with the events that had just transpired. When he finally arrived at Mokbelola's house, he was greeted with warmth and relief. Mokpe and Olu embraced him tightly, their eyes filled with concern and love. They listened intently as Malaika recounted his painful experiences with Fati and his cousins. Mokpe shook her head, her face mixed with sorrow and anger. I knew there was something wrong about them. I am sorry you had to go through that, Malaika. Olu held Malaika's hands. You are safe now. We won't let anything happen to you. Malaika felt a deep sense of relief and gratitude. He had returned to the one place where he truly felt loved and protected. Over the next few days, he settled back into the routine of life in Mokbelola's house, helping Mokbe with the housework and spending time with Olu. He felt a renewed sense of purpose and strength. Meanwhile, back in Fati's village, Roti's confessions had caused a stir. The villagers, outraged by the revolutions, demanded justice. Fati and her children were ostracized, and they faced the consequences of their actions. They realized too late that their cruelty had brought about their downfall. One evening, as the sun set over the horizon, casting a golden glow over the village, Malaika sat with Mokpe and Olu by the fire. They talked and laughed, sharing stories and dreams for the future. For the first time in a long while, Malaika felt at peace. Malaika began,
Mama, thank you for everything. I don't know what I would have done without you and Olu.
Mokbelola smiled warmly. Family isn't always about blood, Malaika. It is about who stands by you and supports you. You are a part of our family now. Malaika felt tears up in his eyes. He had found a home not just in a place, but in the heart of Mokpe and Olu. He knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, he would face them with the strength of their love and support. As days turned into weeks, Malaika's life began to normalize. He helped Mokpe in the garden, fetching water, and even started teaching the younger children in the village. He felt a sense of fulfillment and joy in giving back to the community that had embraced him so warmly. As time passed, Malaika thrived in the village. He continued his work with the children and became an integral part of the community. His story of resilience and kindness spread far and wide, inspiring others to act with compassion and courage. One day, a stranger arrived in the village. She was a tall and beautiful woman named Rolake. She had heard of the village's peaceful and welcoming nature. She was a merchant seeking opportunities and had decided to come to stay with her uncle in the village to explore the village potential. Rolake was immediately struck by Malaika's charisma and grace. She watched him interact with villagers, his laughter like a melody that drew people in. She admired him from afar, but it wouldn't take long before their path crossed. One afternoon, while Malaika was helping Mokbe sell produce at the markets, Rolake approached their stall. She introduced herself and struck up a conversation with Mokbe. It wasn't long before she and Malaika began talking, discovering they shared many interests and values. Over the next few weeks, Rolake and Malaika spent more time together. They went for long walks, shared stories, and helped each other with their respective work. Rolake admired Malaika's strength and resilience, while Malaika found comfort in Rolake's kindness and ambition. That marked the beginning of the journey of their friendship together, as they were excited for the adventures that lay ahead. The moral of the story is that kindness, resilience, and the power of community could overcome even the greatest of challenges. Thank you for watching another of our story. Please don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. Also, subscribe and turn on your notification bell to get notified when we drop our next story. See you on the next one. Bye.